You thought Hamilton was just having a rough weekend?
Yeah, I'm useless. Absolutely useless.
Any answers anywhere? I mean, this car, they're trying to get this car in a better position for you.
The team has no problem. You've seen the car's on pole, so we probably need to change driver.
What if he's thinking about walking away? Because after one of the worst performances of his Ferrari career, he didn't just blame himself. He didn't just criticize his own driving. He said something that sent shockwaves through the paddock. Hopefully I'll be back. Now, before you panic, Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur has no doubt Lewis is still all in. But let's be clear, this wasn't just a throwaway line. This was a moment, a glimpse behind the armor, a 7-time world champion, questioning everything. And that could change the course of this season. For him, for Ferrari, and maybe for the entire grid. Let's rewind the chaos. Hungary. Hamilton qualifies P12. Out in Q2, again. Leclerc on pole. Post-session, Lewis is brutal with himself. I'm useless, absolutely useless. They probably need to change driver, but it didn't stop there. After finishing the race outside the top 10, stuck in a DRS train, unable to move forward, Lewis doubled down. He said his feelings hadn't changed. He didn't want to say anything more. And then came the line, "Hopefully I'll be back." That wasn't confidence. That was uncertainty. And for a driver like Hamilton, that's rare. This isn't just about one weekend, it's about a pattern. Since joining Ferrari, Hamilton has 0 podiums, 4 Q2 exits, a growing gap to Leclerc, now 42 points behind. He's been out-qualified consistently. He's had tire struggles. He's still learning the car, the culture, the systems. Meanwhile, Leclerc is thriving. 5 podiums, first Ferrari pole of the season, confidence rising. The contrast is sharp and painful. And now we see the internal war. Because Lewis isn't just racing the car, he's racing himself. He's questioning, doubting, struggling to adapt. And this isn't Mercedes anymore. This isn't his home. This is a new team, a new language, a new pressure. And at 40 years old, with one of the greatest legacies in sport, Hamilton's biggest battle might not be with Verstappen or Leclerc, it might be within. But let's not forget who we're talking about. This is the man who took on Alonso as a rookie, dominated the turbo hybrid era, came back from heartbreak in 2016, fought Verstappen tooth and nail in 2021. Hamilton's legacy isn't just trophies. It's resilience, it's fire, it's redefining what's possible at every stage of a career. And now, maybe this isn't the fall, maybe it's the reinvention. Still, the road ahead won't be easy. Fred Vasseur himself said it. Of course he's frustrated, but he's not demotivated. And he's right. Lewis hasn't given up. He's just hit a wall. New car, new team, tire warm-up issues, strategic gambles that didn't pay off. Like starting on the hard tire in Hungary, he's pushing. But Ferrari's rhythm is still foreign to him. And in a sport measured in hundredths of a second, that disconnect matters. So here's the real question. Is this just a rough chapter for Hamilton, or is it the beginning of the end? Because when a legend starts saying things like, "Hopefully I'll be back," you have to wonder, how much more does he have left to give? How much longer can he carry this weight? And most importantly, can he turn it around before it's too late? You thought Lewis Hamilton's biggest problem was the Ferrari car? What if the real issue is time? Because while the world focuses on tire warm-up, radio messages, and missed apexes, there's one question nobody wants to ask out loud. What if Lewis is just getting old? Now, hold on. This doesn't mean he's finished. In fact, it might be the key to unlocking a whole new chapter in his legacy. Because the Lewis we're seeing now, he's not just driving, he's rebuilding a team. He's rewriting the Ferrari culture from the inside. And if he pulls it off, it won't just be impressive, it will be one of the most important transformations in F1 history. Let's get real. Lewis Hamilton is 40, the most successful driver in F1 history. 7 world titles, 105 wins, and yet, since 2022's ground effect regulations kicked in, he's won just twice. Now at Ferrari, in his debut season, He's been out-qualified 7-5 by Charles Leclerc. He's 42 points behind in the standings, and he hasn't seen the podium once. Even more painful, he's already called himself useless. He's told Ferrari to change driver, and after Hungary, he said, "Hopefully I'll be back." That's not the voice of a champion. That's the voice of a man at war with his own performance. And this isn't just about Hungary. This is a slow-burning story with massive implications. Because if Lewis Hamilton, the titan of the hybrid era, fails at Ferrari, then history will lump him in with Alonso, with Vettel, with every great who couldn't tame Maranello. Ferrari hasn't won a title since 2007, and now with Leclerc delivering poles and podiums, the pressure on Hamilton is sky high. Every missed Q3, every bad strategy, every radio outburst, they're not just mistakes, they're red flags. And here's where it gets personal. According to Mercedes insider and Sky F1 pundit Anthony Davidson, Hamilton's age is the elephant in the room. He said it straight, "I don't mind saying it, age is a factor." And he's right. Lewis isn't reacting the same way. He's not adapting to the new ground effect cars like before. The intuitive style that once made him magic now requires re-engineering. He's reinventing himself, again, at 40. But the question is, can he still evolve faster than the sport? Here's why this matters more than ever. Hamilton knows the names before him: Alonso, Vettel, Raikkonen, all of them legends. All of them failed to bring Ferrari a championship, and he refuses to be next. That's why he's not just driving. He's in meetings, he's writing documents, he's challenging leadership, he's reshaping Ferrari from the inside. His words, "I refuse for that to be the case with me, so I'm going the extra mile." This isn't ego, it's legacy, it's purpose, it's personal. But even with all that fire, there's one brutal reality. Age does matter. Reaction time's slow. Fatigue hits harder. Recovery takes longer. Davidson lived it. He said, "I've lived and breathed it as an athlete. I'm now retired at 46. You start asking yourself questions. It's only natural. And we're seeing that now. The radio frustrations, the mental exhaustion, the emotional toll. This isn't the Hamilton of 2018. This is a man fighting against physics, psychology, and history. So now we ask, is this just another chapter in the Lewis Hamilton comeback saga? Or is this the slow fade of a legend? Can age be conquered again by talent, passion, and sheer will? Or is Ferrari simply the final mountain too high to climb? Will Lewis rewrite the ending, or will Maranello write it for him? What do you think? Comment below. Is Hamilton still fast enough to beat Leclerc? Should Ferrari build the car more around Lewis? Or is age finally catching up to him? Drop a like if you still believe in the comeback. Subscribe if you want more raw, honest F1 stories like this. Because this isn't just another season. This is the reckoning. And whether he rises or falls, Hamilton's story at Ferrari will define the next era of Formula One.